natural gas companies. Yeah. So National Grid's up there, so I was up at one of their facilities with all their engineers.
Zoom off because it was always this, and you see who it is. So.
Sit here.
Go. Welcome back, guys. As you saw, we got the transmission back, so we're going to be bolting that up today, sliding our whole powertrain back in, and seeing if it all lines up. It should, because this bell housing is pretty much the same thing. It's just reinforced a little bit better, but the guy did a great job with it. So we're going to get that unwrapped in a minute here. We're going to get it bolted up and then slide it in. I don't have my torque converter yet, so we're going to have to pull it back out anyway. And we're not putting the flex plate on yet either. So we're just going to slide it in, see how it lines up, and then we can get our marks and get a transmission cross member made so we can work on that. And then once I get my converter in, and then I need to get the bolts for the flex plate, because I already had the flex plate, and then the torque converter bolts too, which hopefully will just come with it. I'm hoping. I'm getting it from PTC. I don't know if they send them or not with it, but if not, it is what it is. But regardless of that, we're going to get this bolted up, and then we're going to slide it in, see how it lines up.
Let's just do that. And we need to take that thing in, I'm going to say a half to 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
I think. If we can. If there's a way possible to do it. So, let's, can't remember what way, I think it was this way. So let's take this up again.
Okay.
See if we can get it back out of here. Okay. And you're going to have to get rid.
Had to dent that in.
Hopefully that's enough.
Hopefully. I think that's the only spot it was hitting.
I think so.
Because it was hitting right here.
And I think once it goes in and slides down, I think it'll be out of the way.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hoping. We'll try it now, see how it comes out. So we're trying to jack up the transmission now.
So give me a board for this.
Okay.
Or that rubber. Where's that thick rubber we had?
I don't know. So did you put it over here?
The blue drawers on top of them. There should be rubbers here.
There's one.
Thanks to BGE.
That's
where they're from. So now let's look at.
Here she is.
Here.
Okay. Go up a little. Look underneath. Get you guys a look underneath here.
So then what I think we need to do.
That might fuck me. Don't know yet.
See, like, I don't know if it needs to go over a little.
I can't really tell.
I know. I'm trying to look this. I think what we should do is just drop a plumb bob down.
Yeah.
And then probably get a center on here and drop a plumb bob down and see how far they're off
Okay.
from each other. So why don't we try that?
All right.
Go back to our trusty plumb bob. And that's hitting that line. So that's saying that's right. And look, my marks are right back on where we originally had them.
Yeah.
And this one's almost there.
Right.
But again, like I said, we're still a little bit. But honestly, think about it. If we got to do, maybe the engine's like this, and when we pull that transmission
one way or the other,
a little bit, if it needs to. So now what we need to find out is where we are in relation to the rear with that now. So why don't we go back up with it?
Okay.
And let's start looking at that.
All right. Yeah.
So now, that actually looks closer now center-wise, Colby.
Yeah, it does.
I think here. I'm going to drop the plumb bob from this one and see if it moved that mark that we had there, right?
Yeah.
So let's try that. And then we'll start trying to figure out how to line the tranny up with it.
Okay.
I think we're right on.
Looks like it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And if so, now we can figure out how we're going to make our
Bracket.
transmission mount.
Yeah.
Because this is, I think, about where it's got to be. Let's check. The only other thing I'm curious is, I wonder how. This is probably going to have to come out.
That shouldn't.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because when the rear is going to go up, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
'cause
the
we
rear's
have
got to
go
compress
hang.
still.
Right. Okay. So, I think I'm telling you, Cole, stand out here and look at your frame and look at the transmission pan. It
Yeah.
looks to me like it's level, doesn't it to you?
Yeah. It does. I mean, flush this way,
Right.
yeah. I mean,
Yes.
it's really flat. It's almost parallel with
But
the
that's
frame.
what I mean. So even though when you look here at the engine's angled back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I would assume the transmission's more important to be sitting flush with the frame.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think? I think.
Well, we're about to start doing the transmission mount itself. So we're going to be running this pipe across and then putting angle iron across here. We're going to weld it to the pipe itself, and then we're going to drill holes through both these pieces of angle iron so that way we can through bolt it on each side. And then we're going to weld another piece of angle iron that's going to be, the flat's going to be up top here, and then the other flat's going to be against this side of the pipe, the other side here. And then we're going to just drill through, and then we're going to through bolt it, and that's pretty much it. So that way we'll be done with that, and we can pull this thing in and out as needed, and then just bolt it up whenever we're ready to permanently set it in place. Hey guys, thought I'd hop in here for a second and explain to you how I'm making this bracket. So I punched my holes first, as you can see. And for those of you unaware, we punched a hole first, and then we run our drill bit through. The reason you punch is to make sure that the drill bit doesn't walk on it at all on the surface you're trying to drill through. And then I also ended up dremeling these holes out, or egging the holes a little bit bigger than the size of the bolt itself. And the reason being is that once I have this bracket in place, I don't want to have to fight it at all, so I want to be able to give myself as much wiggle room as possible, but we also don't want them bolts coming loose. So I did put lock washers on when we set them in there permanently. You can see them on the bottom there as well, on the bottom of the bolt head. And I ended up tacking this in place once I had them bolts snug, and then we pulled it back out, and then we began to weld it. Now, when we typically weld, it is a little bit tricky when it comes to this bracket actually came off, but it was still held in place decent enough to where I knew it didn't move from the original spot that I wanted it in. So we were able to weld it out fully, almost all the way around. And just a few things to keep in mind whenever you guys decide to do these yourselves. You will save yourself a lot of money and a lot of time rather than taking it to a shop. If you're able to, and you're fabricating something along these lines, a lot of times it's easier to do it yourself and save yourself the money. All right, so I got this all welded up there, but now I gotta take some off of each side so that way I can put another piece of angle iron against this to fit up where those other pieces of angle iron are. It'll all make sense once you see it up there, but it's hard for me to explain. But anyways, I gotta take a little bit of this off for it to fit better. We'll just go with that for now. All right, I just got those cut. So now we can take another piece of angle iron, which should be, yep, here. So we can take that and we're gonna cut maybe about a 3-4 inch piece. We're gonna cut 2 of them, 1 for each side here, and then we can line it up and then tack those in place. And after we're done tacking those in place, we can drill the holes through to make sure that it all lines up before we weld it fully in, because I wanna make sure it all lines up before we make this permanent. Maybe it'll make more sense now what I'm talking about. So we have another piece of angle iron here, and then we're gonna drill holes through both of these pieces and then bolt it. After we have these pieces welded in, we're gonna weld it to the pipe itself. So that way we can pull the bolts out from each side if we would ever have to, and then take the whole thing out. Hopefully that we wouldn't have to do that, but if so, we are able to. So I got these pieces here. I'm gonna put a tack here, a tack there, same here and on the other side, and then we'll put another piece behind it to close it up and make sure we get a full seal. Hey guys, making a quick little interruption here again. Thought I'd just mention that as I'm welding all this together, I probably should have waited a little bit longer in between my welds, but I was kind of rushing to get this done in a decent amount of time. Typically just because your metal will start to warp and it will start to take on a certain contour if you weld it too quickly. So just something to keep in mind, and you want to move to the opposite side of whatever you're welding and then move back to the other side again. That makes sure that the metal stays as cool as possible so it doesn't warp on you and change the shape or anything. So just another tip here for you. If you got any other questions or any ideas, leave them below in the comments. All right, cool. Went a little bit smoother than I thought it would. Let me not say that yet, because my luck will be these holes will line up. I'll have to take it back out and drill it again for the 3rd time. But live and learn, right? I'm gonna take it back out and paint it. I still gotta drill these holes too, so I'm just getting this set in place. So that way I know where I have to be when I drill my holes. I don't really know if there's a torque spec for these or not, but we'll go ahead and type it out. Okay, so now I just got to space out my 2 holes here, and we can get this thing drilled. A little upper arm workout, but still feel comfortable. I think we'll go right about there. Can't have the one back this way too far over because it'll hit my pipe. The thread's going through when the bolt will hit the pipe. But I don't want it too far this way either because I want to use a decent diameter bolt to go through here to hold these. So we'll spray this drill bit, and I should probably get some glasses on because I'm going to get stuff in my eyes. Always keep the drill bits lubed. They don't go bad as quickly. They don't burn up as quick. Spray again. And if you don't have WD or anything, PB Blaster works just as fine, or drill bit oil, or if you got some old motor oil around, you can use some of that too, if need be. But I like WD, and anything you can spray pretty well usually works pretty good. Shaving's all over me here. Make do with what you got, right? Came out okay. It ain't gonna go nowhere. My shit don't look pretty, it just holds, usually. That's that side. And then I'm gonna hit the other side real quick, and then we can pull this out and drill our holes to the actual size that we need them. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today. We're just about done. Or I basically am done. I just got to wait for the paint to dry on the bracket over here. This came out pretty good. And then we can bolt it up tomorrow to here, and then as well to our side pieces over here. And then we can, once we have that bolted all up, we can take this down and then get this out of the way. And then our transmission mount is done. So I'll be getting back down here tomorrow, and I'll have some more footage for you guys, hopefully. But yeah, we'll just fast forward to that real quick. Well, guys, that'll about wrap it up for the transmission bracket. Came out pretty nice. As you guys can see now, what I was talking about is we were just welding another piece of angle iron on top of this other piece of angle iron, basically. So it's two back-to-back pieces right there, but it worked out pretty well. We were hoping that we could have straddled the pipe in between two bolts, so we would have had the pipe in between these two here, but it just didn't end up working out that way. So we had to do it like this, which is still works fine. And as you can see on the front there, lines up fine. And then when I laid out my holes, I thought it was going to be 3 inches center to center, but it was only 1.5 inches center to center. For whatever reason, I got all mixed up and had to do it like that, so it's a little bit offset. But other than that, it looks fine, and it'll do the job fine. Them welds shouldn't really give me any issues, at least I hope not. Like I said, I'm not a welder, but we usually are able to make our way around some stuff. So this is what we did for ours. Leave any questions that you guys have down in the comments, like if you're curious about measurements or anything, and I'll try and help you out the best I can. This was kind of just us winging it, and it came out pretty well. You know, you kind of go slow with these sort of things and see how it comes out over time. And if you don't like what you have, you can always start over. That's what's nice about doing stuff homemade like this, is that I spent no money making this, and it only took me a day to do it. So it was well worth the time, rather than spending the $350, $400 that a bracket costs for a TH400 and an S10. So I think this will do the job just fine as well. So that'll wrap it up for this video. If you guys have any questions, like I said, leave them down below, and I'll do my best to make my way around and answer them. If you have any questions about doing these or anything else about the truck, let me know. I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. So thanks. Hope to see you again next time.
Hey guys, thought I'd pop in here at the very end of this video to say make sure you comment, leave any questions you have below, like, subscribe to the channel. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we have a lot more coming very soon, so stay tuned.